To discuss CNA Hardy's proposition in the UK mid-market space, I'm joined now by three senior members of the team. They are Craig Jones-Newey, who is Head of Overall UK Middle Market. We're also joined by Mark James, responsible for Property and Casualty, and Lauren Bates, who is responsible for Technology. Craig, let's start with you. If we could set the scene first of all, how important are UK mid-market companies to the overall British economy?
So we're talking here about organisations with between 10 and 250 employees, turnover from probably 10 million up to 300 million, and that's how CNA Hardy defines that middle market space. How vital are they to the economy? They're extremely vital. Whilst only 2% of the middle market sector makes up the count of companies within the UK, it punches well above its weight, delivering almost a third, maybe a little bit more than a third in terms of revenue to the UK economy. And in terms of their characteristics, they're innovative, they're progressive, they're diverse, and they're risk takers. And it's our responsibility, as the market and as CNA Hardy, to support that risk.
And Mark, given those characteristics of UK mid-market companies, what can insurers do to support them in the most effective way possible?
And so a number of those characteristics that Craig just mentioned there when he talked about the entrepreneurialness and their trading and their risk-taking aspects of that. That leads to different insurance requirements and different sector-focused requirements that they need in their insurance policies. And that's a common mistake that lots of insurers will make, where they will just do a one-size-fits-all and try to shoehorn them into what they're looking at. So that's something that we try to avoid. And what's also important for them is you build a proposition with experts for their area of expertise and understand some of the challenges that they themselves are facing.
Lauren, can you dig into that theme of specialisation by sector in a bit more detail?
Yeah, so of course CNA Hardy can provide the general insurance covers, but we recognise that the middle market business is more specialist. So a business is set up to serve specific industries. So we've got tailored wordings for those industries. So that ranges from wholesale to manufacturing, professional risk to construction. And then we've also got life science, technology, as well as transport and logistics. If I think selfishly about tech, it's a really good way of demonstrating how we lead those wordings with the most complex risks that client carries. So for tech specifically, we always lead with the PI and cyber. And then what we do from there is we also write the property and casualty under the same policy form. So the insurers then got a one-stop shop effectively for their insurance coverages. And then beyond that, we can also offer coverages that complement that main package wording. So whether that's a tech company needing marine or MLP, CNA's got a solution for that. But key to those wordings and proposition is people. So whether that be in claims, underwriting, or within our risk control team, we really pride ourselves on having people that have worked in those specific industries as part of our team. And that really, to CNA Hardy, is what it means to be a specialist insurer.
Greg, tell us a little bit more about CNA Hardy in the round.
Yeah, of course. So CNA Hardy is part of the Chicago-based CNA Corporation, one of the largest insurers in the US. We insure easily more than over 1 million customers, clients, professionals globally. We have capabilities in over 200 territories to be able to service the demands and needs of those clients.
And just to build on that, our distribution model for the UK and continental Europe is about partnering with the major brokers and also the independent brokers. And we've worked really hard on bringing down the number of partners we trade with. And the reason we've done that is so that they can understand our proposition in greater detail. And the better they can understand that and really see the value that we bring, the clearer it is to articulate that to our clients. And so they really get the value in what we're doing. We work on a one quote to market basis, and so this clears the trading environment for our brokers as well, so the clients aren't getting mixed messages. And it's really key, and they've said on numerous occasions, that's their preference for trading in this environment.
Yes, there's a couple of parts of that proposition that that Mark talks about, I think it's really important to sort of highlight. So first and foremost, I'd say it's our claims team. So I know I said it earlier, but I'll say it again, having people that have worked in those industries and having teams aligned to our specialisms is a real differentiator for us. So it means in the event of a loss that a client is speaking to someone who understands their language and also understands the impact of the loss that the client's experiencing. And then also, what's really positive about the CNA proposition is our multinational capability. What we're really proud of is at the AXCO Awards, we were awarded the Multinational Client Services Team of the Year award. And that was a really great recognition for us, not only from our clients and our brokers, but also from our peers, to have a market leading proposition in that space.
And Lauren, coming back to the mid-market space, what can brokers expect specifically from CNA Hardy in 2025?
So in 2025, our focus is really to help our brokers differentiate themselves, as well as CNA Hardy as a marketplace has become particularly lively. So we're doing that through a couple of ways. So we're looking at a series of thought leadership articles, but also issuing some guidance to our clients that is addressing current issues, but also looking at emerging trends. So quite recently, we released a claims defensibility document. I'd encourage that all our brokers read, review and share that with their client, because what it does is it gives an insured some really structured guidance in the event of a loss. If I think about what's coming up from CNA, we are about to release some guidance on wellbeing in the workplace. We've found that has become particularly pertinent since the pandemic. So not only do employers have to think about how their clients are when they're based in the office, but they now have a duty of care for them when they're at home as well. So just taking into account the impact of hybrid working on their employees.
Well, lots of that. I just wonder if anyone's got anything to add to that. Mark?
Just building on that, really. We've also, in addition to the online and the virtual stuff we've been talking about, we've done a few bits face-to-face. Mm-hmm. And that started this year with an event that we ran for 150 of our biggest brokers to present to them on the social, economic and wider macroeconomic environment that's going on this year. Mm-hmm. And we got some speakers from business, but also social commentators and political views on that. And we talked about where the outlook was for the UK and the wider world over the next 12 to 36 months. So we built on that, and I got some really good feedback. Also, more aimed at our brokers, we've run some multinational training. We're going to continue to roll that out so that they can build a greater confidence in dealing with those sort of clients. And then finally, more aimed at our end user customers, we run IOS training courses to improve their ability to work with risk management and to ensure that their business is in a stronger position. And all of the reason why we do all of that, well, it creates a more structured and better recognised insurance industry, and it's better advice to the clients at the end of the day.
Well, Craig, we talked through a huge amount today, but if you had to distill it down to one message for brokers, what would that be?
We're completely committed to growing with our key partners and their respective clients, and investing. And there's no change from a middle market perspective. We will continue that. My final thought: come and talk to us. If you're unsure, if you have any questions, if you want to find out more, then get in touch with one of the team. We're completely committed to the continuous development of our products and services to suit the demands and needs of both our brokers and our clients.
We have to leave it there. Craig Jones-Newey, Mark James, Lauren Bates, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And to find out more about CNA Hardy, they are going to be at the BIBA conference in Manchester in the middle of May. Do go and have a look at their stand. It's B20.